let's get into the AFC West previews. And I feel like this is daunting because guess what? We're starting off hot. We're starting off with the third best team in the division. That is the 7-9 Las Vegas Raiders, baby. Ooh, did I say it right? Come on.
How dare you
That's
say
how Al
that?
Davis say it. Raiders, baby.
Oh my God.
Heading into a new stadium in Las Vegas. Derek Carr on a make it or break it deal this year. They have a high investment in Marcus Mariota. Their $17 million man over 2 years, $7.5 million guaranteed. You have the stud Josh Jacobs coming into a sophomore season. Sophomore season. Hopefully he doesn't have a sophomore slump. And we have the new addition of Henry Ruggs. What do you guys make of this team? I guess I would start off by saying, is there any way that we see Josh Jacobs improve upon what he did last year? I mean, he can only go up, right? Breakout player last year. Top 5. Wow.
Oh.
Right now, he's going currently as the running back 9. So you see him going top 5.
So I'm showing the depth chart here. If you guys can see that. Not you guys, but the viewers can probably see it a lot better. Yeah, so this is the depth chart. So we have, obviously, Derek Carr is the starting quarterback, Josh Jacobs starting running back. Top receivers are Tyrell Williams, Henry Ruggs III, Hunter Renfrow. They also have Zay Jones there and Nelson Aguilar. They got a lot of wide receivers. They have Darren Waller, Jason Witten at tight end. Yeah, so those are our top guys we'll be talking about here.
That's pretty helpful. Let's start it off with Derek Carr. Derek Carr last year, I mean, he wasn't anyone's QB1 for that matter, but you may have used him towards the end of the season during bye weeks, especially. I mean, this is his make it or break it year. Like I said before, you don't spend that kind of money on a backup quarterback if you don't intend to either intimidate your quarterback or have plans to use him in the season. So how likely is it, and I'll propose this question to you guys, how likely is it that we see Derek Carr play a full 16 games this year? Let's just say a percentage.
I think it's highly likely.
Highly likely. You think it's 100% likely?
A freak accident happens.
I mean, we could look at Tennessee's situation last year where we saw Tannehill play, 7 or 8 games? Boom. I mean, not Tannehill. Mariota play 7 or 8 games. Then, boom, turned it over into Marcus Mariota's. What am I saying here, guys? We saw Marcus Mariota start 8 games last year.
Mariota's his backup. Look, I think there's a 60% chance that he plays the whole season because I think this is Derek Carr's last chance to step up or they're moving on. And I don't think that means Mariota's their franchise quarterback going forward. Not at all. I think Mariota's a guy who can step in and just take over because even though Derek Carr is probably a better quarterback than Mariota, people just get tired of guys. They don't want to give them any more chances. So for the fan base, they might just want somebody new. So I think there is a high chance that if Derek Carr doesn't play excellent, that he gets benched.
Yeah, but last year he threw for the 8th most yards in what most Raider fans would consider a bad season. 21 touchdowns, that's mediocre, middle of the pack. Interceptions, 8, that's also, middle of the pack. And that was a bad season. So I believe that it would take a lot for Mariota just to come in because Mariota is very similar to Carr in terms of play. They're middle of the pack quarterbacks. So I feel like he would have to exceed Carr to take over his spot. And I don't see that happening early in the season. I feel like more so that'd be like 10 and so games further in the season.
Yeah, Damon, that is a good point. And you brought it up that, those were lackluster numbers. And speaking, as both of us here, as Raider fans, we are pretty harsh when it comes to showing love to our players. We're pretty quick to turn them out the door. However, he did have Mike Glennon and Nathan Peterman as backups last year. True. I do think Marcus Mariota is a step up from there. And let me just show you a little tidbit. Do you guys remember before Gruden was the coach of the Oakland Raiders, he was the host of his own little segment on ESPN called the Gruden Grinders?
Of course.
Well, guess what? Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota came out the same year, 2014, and I think he had someone ranked a little bit higher than Derek Carr. Do you remember who that was? It was your boy, Marcus Mariota.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So there could be a love connection happening here in Las Vegas.
Yeah. I'm going to go a bold prediction here. I don't think he makes it past the first 6 games.
That
I'm
doesn't
looking
make
at the
sense.
Raiders. I'm looking at the Raiders schedule. I see the Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to be better this year than they were last year. They got Bridgewater. They have CMC.
Bridgewater.
Am I wrong there? Teddy
No,
Bridgewater.
no, they have Bridgewater, but
Yeah.
Bridgewater, is he
I mean, who did they have last year? They had Kyle Allen. Are you kidding?
What was
That's
Bridgewater's
definitely a step up.
record last year when he stepped in for Drew Brees?
4-0.
I'm saying, okay, they've got the Panthers, the Saints, the Patriots, the Bills, the Chiefs, then the Buccaneers. That is a pretty tough schedule to start the year.
It's grueling for sure.
And I don't see them winning more than, at best, 2 of those games. But I'm going to go ahead and say they're going to start 1-5. I'm not even being biased here. I think they're going to start the season 1-5. I don't see them beating the Saints. The Patriots have their number, and that's I don't know what's going to be happening this year. But Belichick, we talked about this last week. It's Belichick's team. It's not Brady's team. I don't think that team is going to take a huge step back. I don't think they're going to be as dominant as they have been. The division is up for grabs over there. We'll talk about that a different week. But I still think they're not a team that you're going to walk all over. They're a defensive team. They were the best fantasy defense all of last year. They're gonna beat the Raiders. The Saints are gonna walk all over the Raiders. The Bills are a tough team. We've talked about that before. 1-5, and I think Derek Carr gets benched before they make it to Week 7. And Mariota starting. I'm not sure he's gonna do any better, and it's maybe not Derek Carr's fault, but they are not gonna have a lot of success to start the year, and that's unfortunate for him. And
you're acting like you have Mahomes behind Derek Carr. It's Marcus Mariota.
I just said it's not necessarily Derek Carr's
technically,
fault.
That's like saying last year, well, guess what? It's only Ryan Tannehill behind Marcus Mariota. That's not doing much. And look what happened there. Ryan Tannehill had one of the best years of his career.
You're right.
So this is a similar scenario. Joe, I don't know if I'd go too far as to agree with you, but I mean, I see you're heading in the right direction.
You don't agree with that, right? 1-5 for the Raiders, Gabe. Please.
You know what? They have a tough season. They have a very tough opening schedule.
You're my last hope, bud.
Damon, what is your prediction for those first 6 games?
I'd give them 2-3.
2-4, you mean?
Oh, first 6 games, 2-4.
Yeah, 2-4. Damon,
we got the Patriots.
Is it okay for me to say, can we book it down and say that they're not going to have 3 wins within the first 6 games?
Let's do it.
Let's
do it. All right, so we are booking
Cam
it
Newton
down.
Throws to the Angels. This is not Angels in the outfield.
I'll give it to you that they could potentially beat the Patriots and the Panthers, and I still don't see them getting a 3rd win.
Wow.
So I will book it down under 3 wins for the first 6 games of the year.
I'll take
Jacob,
that.
do you agree with him?
I'll go under as well.
Jacob and Joe agree. Under 3 wins for the Raiders.
I think it's going to take the Raiders a little bit to get.
If the Raiders win 3 games in the first 6 games, I win, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take that as well. I'm going to take 3 and over as well. Have to as a diehard Raiders fan.
I think the Raiders are in rebuild. They should go into rebuild, but with the pieces they have, with Josh Jacobs, with Henry Ruggs, with Darren Waller, and get a young tank this year. Get a young quarterback.
I think Joe's in a rebuild season.
I think that's a perfect book it down. There are more important players here to discuss, including one of the great players last year, emerging stars, Josh Jacobs. He was the first rookie ever to rush for over 1,000 yards. He was the first rookie to run for over 100 yards and 2 scores in his first game since LaDainian Tomlinson. And despite missing 3 games, he still finished 3rd behind only Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb in average rushing yards per game. The ceiling is only up, according to Damon. You say he finishes even higher than he did last year.
Top 5.
I totally see it. I see him finishing within the top 6 at least at his position. You guys, Jacob, Joe?
Hold on, Gabe. I got to call you out on something. Ezekiel Elliott's rookie year, he rushed for 1,600 yards and to lead the league in rushing.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I meant first Raider.
Oh, okay. You said first rookie, and I was like, wait a minute. And there's probably plenty more. No worries. Go ahead. My bad.
But yeah, I can totally see him having a top 6, top 7 type of year. Right now, currently the running back 9 off the board. I mean, I just think there aren't a lot of question marks when you get to those top guys, the CMCs, the Zekes. Those positions are locked down. But right around where Joe Mixon is going, Dalvin Cook. Let's see here. There was someone else we were talking about the other day. Oh, now we have Clyde Edwards-Helaire entering the conversation. And I'll propose this question to start us off. In a redraft league, are you guys still, or who are you choosing? The consistent Josh Jacobs or the question mark on the high octane, who we will talk about next, Clyde Edwards-Helaire? They're both going around the same exact draft spot right now. Who are you guys going to have?
Josh Jacobs all day, and we could save Clyde Edwards-Helaire when we get to the Chiefs, but I'll just answer the question. Josh Jacobs, hands down.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs too. Joe, round us out. Come on.
I'll go Edwards.
Okay. We'll talk about it.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Josh Jacobs. I like him. If you guys remember last year, Gabe, you weren't in this league, but DeMont and Jacob were. I took him in the second round. Part of that was because I knew we had Raider fans in the league. I knew I was going to be able to sucker one of you for a lot more, which I did. But I liked him as a player. But you know what his biggest downfall to me is? He doesn't catch the ball very much. I was looking over the numbers. 27 targets last year in 13 games. That's 2 targets a game. That's super low for a running back. And he only had 20 receptions. So, yes, he had a fantastic year running the ball last year. He'll probably up his touchdown numbers without a doubt. He had 7 last year. I'm seeing at least 10 this year. But the only way that he enters that top 10 conversation as a steady must-have top 10 guy is if he's catching at least 35, 40 balls. And that's not a lot to ask for, but he needs to double basically what he did last year. And I'm not sure Derek Carr is going to be the quarterback to do that. So with Mariota, if he takes over, as I predict, before week 7, then he might do it. But
we lost DeAndre Washington. That was the other guy.
Well, we did sign Jeremy Hill.
And what about
balls? He never catch balls. Giovanni Bernard catch the balls.
What about Rashard?
We lost.
What's his name?
Washington. And he caught 20 balls last year. So that means
Jalen Ricard.
I mean, to Joe's point,
we still have Rashard.
To Joe's point,
he was catching balls last year just as much as Washington.
Yeah, exactly. So we lost Washington to the Chiefs, which is going to hurt Edwards. We'll talk about that later. But
yeah, I mean, good point.
We have Rashard. Rashard didn't catch as many as Washington did, and we lost him. And obviously, Jacobs is a dynamic playmaker. So Gruden is definitely going to work him into the play more than, especially in Washington's on.
I think one of the reasons why we saw the departure of DeAndre Washington was to open up Josh Jacobs' ability to catch the ball.
Exactly.
So I do see quite a bit of an uptick in catching those balls this year, but not to the extent that Joe. I couldn't agree with Joe as well. I could definitely agree with Joe there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's move on. We do have the fastest time in the NFL Combine. That's Henry Ruggs, Tyrell Williams at receiver. Both of those guys are pretty middle of the round wide receivers right now. Who would you rather have, Henry Ruggs or Tyrell Williams?
Tyrell. As far as fantasy is concerned, Tyrell.
As far as fantasy concerned,
so you don't like upside?
No, listen, that's it. It's upside, but rookie wide receivers are unpredictable. And one of the things with Tyrell Williams is he didn't have any other wide receivers spreading the field with him last year. And now he has Ruggs to kind of be that guy. And I think that's going to take a little bit of attention off of him. I mean, he had a decent year last year. It wasn't anything great. I think he was around 700 yards. But I could see that number actually ticking up with Ruggs on the field and kind of opening it up a little bit for Tyrell.
I feel like Byron Edwards is going to take that man's spot. Byron Edwards is 6'4" stud. He's going to be like a DK Metcalf, just grabbing balls.
Well, so Joe,
I heard the same thing about Keelan Doss last year. He's 6'3". He's a monster. UC Davis. He's going to do
it. Joe, I think
this is tough.
Opinion. Go ahead, Jacob.
So I was going to say, we all thought Tyrell was going to be a good fantasy wide receiver last year. He had a few good games to start the season, and then he kind of fell off and he disappeared. And I don't think he got injured. He just kind of sucked. And it's not all his fault. Derek Carr wasn't doing great as well. He was throwing the ball to Look, Derek Carr just throws to the tight end. He threw to Jared Cook the year before, and Jared Cook was balling. That's what he signed a deal with the Saints. And then he throws to Darren Waller. And quarterbacks who aren't as capable throw to their tight end. So I don't know. I don't even think it's Tyrell Williams' fault. I think with a better quarterback, he would do a lot better. So I don't know. I don't feel good about either of these guys, to be honest, but I give the slight edge to Tyrell Williams.
Hey,
Yeah,
I just want to
go ahead, Joe.
Let me cut you off for just a second, Gabe. I'm going to bring back something from a couple of years ago, but DeMont Jacob, it was the three of us talking. Tyrell Williams was a rookie. Michael Thomas was a rookie. And I had Michael Thomas on my fantasy team.
Here we go.
Do you guys remember we talked about who's going to have a better career? Do you guys remember that conversation?
I don't know if it was career. It might have been a better season that year.
Joe remembers every argument that he wins. So
but you brought this up to me before. Yeah,
I did. I don't want to cut off too much. Go ahead, Gabe.
Well, I'm just saying that
I see what you're saying, though, Joe. Like that, we did talk about that. DeMont and I were high on Tyrell Williams like 3-4 years ago, like very high, and nobody was talking about Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you guys can think that Tyrell Williams is going to do better than Ruggs. Last year, he did 651 yards. I think that Ruggs can do that in 3 games, literally with 4 passes. He can take it to the house. Tyrell Williams never ran a 4.27.
Wait, are they going to expand the field so that he can have 650 yards and 4 catches?
He can do it.
Well, don't bring reasoning into this, Joe. We're talking hype, right?
Look, Tyrell Williams, he's a good player.
No, he's a good player.
In the essence of time,
dynamic player.
I will settle the debate based on popular opinion. Right now, Henry Ruggs is going in the 12th round, so that's viable for 10-team leagues. Tyrell Williams isn't even on a draft board. He's a undraftable sleeper. So take that into account. Last but not least, and we'll touch on him briefly, Darren Waller, one of the emerging stars last year as well of this Raiders offense. He'll look to continue that streak this year. I think he's a sure thing. I mean, oh my gosh. When you talk about make it or break it for Derek Carr, I mentioned this last week. He's going to throw the ball to whoever can catch it. And right now, the only person who ever can catch it is Darren Waller. And he was one of the most sure things for him last year. So I see that continuing this year.